The Federal Reserve raised rates for the 5th consecutive time this year. So how is that going to impact the Sarasota housing market? Stay tuned to find out more. Well, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Matt Light and I'm a realtor here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. I make videos on new construction, buyer relocation, and the Sarasota real estate market. So if you're into those types of things, you're definitely gonna wanna subscribe to my channel and follow me over on Instagram. So the Federal Reserve raised rates by 75 basis points or 0.75% for those of you like me that don't quite understand the basis point system. Now, the biggest question or concern rather is how is this going to impact the local housing market here in Sarasota? Let me give you a few highlights from Jerome Powell's press conference this past week when they raised the interest rates. Now, when asked when is the Federal Reserve going to lower rates, Powell said when they see inflation go back down to around 2%. Well, let's take a look at where inflation currently is. Take a look at this graph. Yeah, it's just over 8%. Another summary from the press conference is that we are likely going to see 100 to 125 basis point increase between now and the end of 2022. So that is 1 to 1.25% of rate increases between today and by December 31st of this year. So let's shift gears real quick and let's talk about the housing market for a few minutes. And let's take a look back first at pricing and see what it's done since January of this year. These numbers that I'm about to read to you are the median housing prices for single-family homes within the Sarasota area. January, the median price point was $530,000. February, we saw our first drop, probably in about 2 years, to $510,000. March, back up to $543,000. April was $550,000. May, $558,000. June, $565,000, and then July, we're off to the races. We're up to $592,000, and then August, we kind of had a slump back down to $545,000, and then September, we've seen it kind of rebound back up to $552,000 so far. So we are certainly beginning to see some fluctuations in pricing, and this is proving that the market is beginning to stabilize from the drastic increases of 2020 and 2021. So I've established in previous videos that the real estate price of a home, it's a supply and demand price. So let's talk about the supply of housing and what interest rate hikes could do. Inventory, in my opinion, I think inventory could struggle a little bit because people who currently own a home here locally in Sarasota, they likely refinanced when interest rates were below 3%, which right now it's looking like that was the deal of a century. And if they're gonna go sell their house and purchase another one, their interest rate could be 6% up to 7%. So their mortgage could be drastically higher if they're not putting a ton of money in their down payment. Now on the flip side, with rising interest rates, buyers' demands for housing could decrease because we're talking about supply and then demand. So demand could decrease within certain price points due to affordability. But we still have an overall housing shortage across the entire country, so there certainly is a demand for people to purchase homes. They just have to be able to afford them with the given interest rates. Another thing to note about people selling their homes are property taxes. Now in Florida is a homestead state. This means that if you declare your Florida property your primary residence, and you can only have one primary residence in the entire world, your taxes cannot increase more than 3% of what you paid in the previous year. Now personally, I just got my tax bill, my trim notice for this past year, and our assessed value went up 35%. But my taxes, they only went up a few $100 because we're homesteaded. So if I were to sell my house, I can guarantee that I'd be paying likely double in taxes than what I'm currently paying. And paying double in taxes and potentially a higher mortgage payment, they're not very enticing for me personally to want to sell my house, even though I know I can get top dollar for it right now. So I know I've only discussed the surface of what our market's currently doing in Sarasota and the potential effects that inflation's can have. But I actually do quarterly market update videos, and I'm gonna be doing another one of those in the next few weeks as Q3 comes to an end. So make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can be in the know with everything that's going on with our market here in Sarasota, Florida. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.